He told me he loved my cooking the first night he stayed over, licking sauce from his fingers and moaning like it was more intimate than sex. For months, food became our language: homemade pasta at midnight, elaborate brunch spreads, even weird little snacks we made up together. He'd always eat everything I put in front of him, smiling and telling me I was the best thing that ever happened to his taste buds. I thought our relationship was built on these little rituals, these moments of shared hunger and satisfaction. Last Thursday, I made his favorite, chicken piccata, extra lemon, like he always asked for. We sat across from each other, candles burning low, and he barely touched his fork. Something was off, but I kept pouring wine, telling myself he was just tired. Then, out of nowhere, he picked up the plate and hurled it at the wall so hard the plaster cracked. Food splattered everywhere. I thought he was joking, but his face was twisted with something ugly. He yelled, "I can't do this anymore. I'm allergic to you," and stormed out, leaving me there with lemon sauce dripping down the wall and my heart pounding in my ears. I found out the next day that he'd been sleeping with someone else for weeks, someone who worked at the same restaurant where we'd had our first date. Apparently, they'd been meeting after his late shifts, and he started hating the smell of my food because it reminded him of her perfume, of how he'd trade my home-cooked meals for greasy takeout with her, pressed up against the back door of the kitchen. My friends said he was trash, but I couldn't get over the image of him shattering our ritual with one violent gesture like it was all a lie. What I didn't tell anyone is that for months, I'd been cooking his favorites not because I loved him, but because I was terrified he'd leave if I didn't. Every meal was a test, every smile a performance, and I was so desperate to be loved that I forgot what it felt like to be hungry for anything but his approval. When he said he was allergic to me, it hit me: I was allergic to myself. I'd been feeding him pieces of me I didn't even want to taste.